Hey there, Sir Thrivers. This is Robbie, one of your 2025 HIVstopswithme.org spokesmodels, chatting with you about our July question of the month, which is as follows. Does your healthcare provider engage with you on your overall health and well-being, or have you had to advocate for yourself to be seen as more than just your HIV diagnosis? I've had the same exact doctor and healthcare provider since the inception of my diagnosis in 2011. I developed a professional, amazing, patient caregiver, rapport with them. And then over the years, from 2011 to now in 2025, I've also developed a very personal relationship with my doctor, Jack Fuhrer at Stony Brook University Medical Center, as well as my nurse practitioner, Jill Douglas. They are both like family to me at this point. And I am proud and grateful to say that I have never had to advocate for myself and with my health and well-being, and I've never just been seen as just my HIV diagnosis. And I think that's because of a few things. I am the kind of person that's just also very charismatic and theatrical. I mean, it's literally what I do for a living. So from the moment I started treatment and met my doctors in 2011, it was always just more than just a patient-doctor relationship. I told them every facet of my life, more than just HIV. I told them about my issues with addiction and battling sobriety and mental health issues, and about my familial and living circumstances, and they have kind of just moved and shifted and changed with me as my life has continued to move and shift and change over the years. And I think right from the get-go, I gave them a full 360-degree view of every facet of who I was and what my life entails. And that was really beneficial because then I made it impossible for them to see me as just my diagnosis. That's also due in part to the fact that I am very, very lucky to receive the best care at Stony Brook University Medical Center with a doctor who is just unbelievable in every single way. He's empathetic, he's professional, he has been doing this. He was one of the leading doctors and researchers right from the ground zero of the epidemic. And so I think he's very emotionally invested in his job and in his calling as a doctor, and his career. And so I think for him, it's just not about being a doctor. I think it's a lifestyle. I think that he is one of the rare human beings in this world that brings his heart and soul and his brilliant mind to the office every single time we meet. And so I'm very lucky when it comes to that. This is definitely not going to be a long-winded video because of those specific reasons. And I would say to folks who are, starting their HIV journey, HIV care journey, I would tell them to be as communicative to your doctors about all of the different facets of who you are and your life and your lifestyle and your medical history and your mental health history and maybe your addiction history, so that they can best see you in the light of they can see you as the human you are. And we are all human, so we're full of contradictions. We are, always moving and changing and grooving in life, and that's not always a linear progression forward. And I think specifically for me, it's been wonderful to be very honest with my doctors, because when my life goes in a non-linear direction, or I make a mistake, or I do something that might put me at risk, or if I'm just in a really weird headspace with my bipolar disorder, my doctors are able to see the human and humanity behind those things, and I'm never judged. If you do not have a doctor that does that, there are resources available to you, and there are so many doctors out there, and basically it's kind of like a therapist. I want you to shop around. You are auditioning your doctors, And that's actually one of the things I do when I'm at Stony Brook University Medical Center, when I lecture the residents, like the resident doctors there. We do a kind of like an acting exercise where I ask the doctors questions about them and pretend like I have just been newly diagnosed, and we go over what that first interaction is like. And I make sure to tell them, like, it's not, you are auditioning. I say to the doctors, you are auditioning to be my caregiver. And that makes a huge difference. And so you just have to know that if you are at the mercy of a healthcare, system, or a practitioner or a doctor that only sees you as your HIV diagnosis, I just want you to know that not every doctor out there is like that. There are doctors that are incredibly emotionally invested, that this is their calling on a soul level. And I urge you to take the time and to, research the resources that are at your disposal, so that you can audition and cast the best doctor that you can. And hopefully that's somebody that can follow you for the long term. And so I also want to say, as a spokesmodel, I am willing, open, and available to chat about those specific things and to provide more specific resources. So if you have any questions about what I've just discussed, you could visit hivstopswithme.org. You could find out my contact information, and I always welcome an email, whether it's through the hivstopswithme.org platform, or just a normal email that you would send me. Because I'm very, very passionate about that, and I'm always happily willing and available to help navigate you in a direction that fits you and your specific journey. Thank you so much. Have a great night.